I got asked this question last night, and I'll tell you guys what my answer was afterwards. But I want both of you to weigh in on this, Mac. Let's go to you first. Right now, neutral court. If they played tomorrow night, Duke against North Carolina, let's just assume that Tyrese Proctor is healthy for this hypothetical matchup. Who's winning that game?
Oh man, I like North Carolina right now. Again, I think Tyler talks about there was a lot of hype about Duke early on, and again, I think Duke's going to be really good down the line. I just didn't buy it early on. I still think they're very young. I think Coach Shires is still figuring out what his style is. I mean, he took over maybe the most impossible situation one could take over in taking over for Coach K. And I think because he got all these, the 5 stars just rolling into Duke, that people thought it would be easy and it would just sort of be seamless in the transition from Coach K to Coach Shire. And I just think that there's a lot. You move over one seat. There's a lot to be said and a lot that comes at you. And, I can only imagine the pressure that he feels. And he's up to the task, but he's got a lot of young guys. I mean, like Caleb Foster, Jared McCain, even Filipowski's a sophomore. And I know most guys that are stars at Carolina and Duke don't seem to usually go past their sophomore year, and he probably won't as well. But they're playing guys like you look at Clemson, for example. Let's talk about them just real quickly. They've got experience. They've got a lot of guys that have played together. I know Joe Girard's new, but PJ Hall's been there for 4 years. Shefflin's a junior. Chase Hunter's experienced. Carolina's in the same boat. A lot of new parts. Even though they're really good parts, and they're coming from all different parts of the country. But then you look at again. I go back to. Duke, it's just they've got to be able to figure out how they want to play. I think they're going to be good down the line, but I would take North Carolina. I think they're playing well. They're playing one of the best teams in the country last night in Connecticut, gave them everything they could and more. I think Carolina's got to play better defense, and that's sort of been their Achilles heel, for a while now.
Yeah, Tyler, I'll let you weigh in 1 second. I just want to follow up with Mac on one thing. I have a theory. I think that the era of relying on one and dones is something that's not going to be able to continue in college basketball. And the reason I think that is because not just right now with all of these guys getting 5th and 6th years and 24 and 25-year-olds playing against 18-year-olds. I think it's because with NIL around now, you're getting guys that used to be on the fringes of the NBA draft. Like if you're on a top 100 board, you're probably gone because you might be able to get a G League deal or an Exhibit 10 deal or something that's going to allow you to make 50 grand, 75 grand. But now you can make that coming back to college basketball through NIL. So it feels like there's just more overall talent in the sport. I don't know if you can build entire rosters to be able to have a full season where you're going to play at that level with nothing but 18 and 19-year-olds on. I think that era is going to be a bygone era right now.
Well, I think there's a couple things that go into that. G League and Ignite and all that stuff. They're taking a large crop of some really good players that normally would be in college basketball for a year or possibly 2. I think the fact that the one good thing about NIL, or maybe 2 good things, are it's taking care of players financially a little bit, like never before. But it also keeps guys like Zach Edey in college basketball longer so that fans can appreciate college basketball. They can sort of watch their teams. But, you're still going to have guys that put their name in. But I agree. I think the pool of talent has shrunk just because of G League and what they're doing to take kids out of high school ranks. So it's not what it used to be. And I think it's going to be really difficult because so many players, whether they're NBA or not, are changing schools. And all the shifting parts, moving sands on these teams, man, it's difficult to feel a lot of continuity and chemistry, especially early on in the season.
All right, Tyler, we're going to go to you. You got about a minute here. Duke, North Carolina, neutral court right now. I think I know who you're going to pick.
Everybody knows who I'm going with Carolina. And I know Duke is struggling right now, but not enough people have talked about the effect that Derek Lively had last year and how he impacted the game from a defensive aspect with his athleticism and his size. I think Duke is missing that right now. It also gave Filipowski a chance to guard out on the perimeter, not the main big man on the other team. But, I think Carolina, just like Max said, they're an older, more veteran team. Harrison Ingram has come in. He's a veteran player. He's given us outside shooting. Cormac Ryan, who's a 25-year-old, you talk about the importance of older, experienced players. I think he's a guy that impacts the game. He hasn't shot it the way that we think he's capable of doing. Maybe he'll get his confidence and, bring some more outside shooting. But this team is playing harder. R.J. Davis is a more consistent scorer this year. He's putting up big numbers. And I think Mondo is more team focused this year. And I think he's not, trying to put up crazy stats, but he's actually bought into winning and rim running. I love the way he's been rim running to the other end and beating the other big down the court. It's been highly effective. But, Elliot Cadeau's going to get his confidence off the bench, and he's going to be one of the best players in the ACC when it's all said and done. But, yeah, we got to play defense. If we show up and play defense, we can beat anybody.